there, Joe Gilder here. Welcome back to Mixed Together, episode something in the double digits. That's kind of awesome. So, what is Mixed Together? In case you didn't know, Mixed Together is simply a series of videos where we mix a song together. I'm going to mix this song, one of my songs, called Mission, from start to finish. We're a little closer to finish than start now, I believe. But if you want to mix along with me, then you can do so. Head to the link below in the description, and you can sign up to receive these exact tracks. Go through these videos together with me. Cool story. A guy emailed me recently, said he downloaded the tracks, tried his mix probably two times, and didn't like his mix at all. Then came back and watched some of the videos, went and did his mix, and he loves his mix. So, there you go. The proof is in my very vague customer review that I didn't even write down his name. So, how's that for awesome? To review where we are, we did some B3 action in the last video and some other goodness. Let's just take a listen and see where we need to go from here.
Much more to give than I could take. I got a mission, and I've got so much life to live, and not just for myself.
All right, so I'm digging the mix. I'm not digging the vocals at all. I think way back, long time ago, I decided to just go nuts on the compression. As you can see, if I just hit play and mute the audio, it is going nutso. And I like to heavily compress vocals. I feel like it's a little too much on this one. So I'm going to redo a few things on the vocals. Fun fact, since the last video, I moved my whole desk back towards the wall a little bit. This needs to move over. There we go. And because when I was at the NAMM show, a good friend was talking about monitor placement, and essentially was saying, and I've yet to do much research on my own, but he's way smarter than me, and I trust him in many, many ways. But he was saying if your speakers should be essentially either 3 feet from the back wall or 6 inches, anywhere in between. When the low frequencies go out of the back of the speaker, because low frequencies are sort of omnidirectional, they go out the back speakers. So behind the speakers is mostly low frequencies. So the low frequencies go out, they bounce off the back wall, and they come back and they pair up with the speaker, with the sound coming out of the front of the speaker. And it's going to, no matter what, it's going to affect what you hear. It's going to either boost some frequencies or cut some frequencies because there's a delay there. And what frequencies get affected depends on that distance and that wavelength. So by moving it closer, it's made it a much smaller wavelength, which means it's mostly the higher frequencies that get affected, which aren't as problematic in this area because we're mostly talking about low frequencies. But having my speakers were about 1.5 feet away from the wall, which means I was probably having some issues in the 150 hertz range. Anyway, I don't want to get technical because I haven't still wrapped my mind around it, so don't comment and tell me that I'm wrong yet. I need to research it anyway. But I've moved my speakers, let's say, and I'm listening a little different way. Either way, that doesn't really change the fact that these vocals sound a little wonky. So I'm going to go back and just kind of redo the vocal. First, I need to not mute them.
Hey, 'cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take.
Okay, so, and I had this going to a delay.
'Cause I've got so much more to give. 'Cause I've got so much more. Always looking over my shoulder, always looking up that ladder. Never see what's right in front of me. Yeah. 'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take. I got a mission, and I've got so much life to live, and not just for my sake. I got a mission, I got a mission, I got a mission.
Okay, so that sounded kind of cool. Went into the de-esser that we set up, which we have set to a pretty high range of frequencies, everything above 2K. For this, when I sing loud like this, those upper mids come out really loudly. So this is taming those down a little bit, doing some de-essing. I'm still okay with the, it seemed to sound a little smoother actually a little brighter when I took these out or put these EQs back in.
Always looking over my shoulder, always looking up that ladder, never see what's right in front of me. Always looking over my shoulder, always looking up that ladder, never see what's right in front. I've got so much more to give than I could ever, 'cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever.
Okay, so I like that. Those took some of that harshness around the sound of give that were jumping out, so I'm still going to keep those there. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm digging the tone, and so my kind of a rule of thumb when I'm mixing something, if I like the tone and don't think it needs any work, I'll compress it first. If I think it needs a little work tone-wise, I will EQ it first. So I'm digging, I mean, by itself right now,
'Cause I've got so.
I like that it's a little too thick, but I'd like to compress that first. So I'll keep it in the order I had originally, but I just need to start over. So I'm going to go back and go to the default setting and just kind of redo this compression here. Probably make it a little more aggressive, but just on the loudest parts and not quite so much compression going on. So let's do that.
'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take. I got a mission, and I've got so much life to live, and not just for my sake. I got a mission, 'cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take.
I like how the compression brings out, you can understand what I'm saying a little bit more. And now I want to EQ it to just soften, not soften, that's the wrong word. It's a little too thick. I want a thick vocal. I want it thick in a good way, but not too thick. Right now, I got a little too much low end. Let's deal with that.
'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take. I got a mission, 'cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take.
Here's something interesting, and this happens a lot when EQing vocals, but really acoustic guitars, this happens a lot. Sometimes there's just a low mid frequency that just kind of jumps out. And it's not really tied to the pitch that I'm singing. On acoustic guitar, it's usually when you strum it pretty hard and like your hand, it's a little bit of a palm mute sort of thing, and there's kind of this woof sort of sound that comes out. That's happening on this vocal right now. So when I play it again, listen to how there's a frequency kind of around the that's coming through. When I sing louder, it's just poking through. It's not really contributing to the pitch. It's just kind of this thick muddiness that honestly is starting to give me a headache, so I got to deal with it.
'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever.
So right there on give than I could ever, it's kind of like there was a separate instrument going, coo, coo, coo. That's just annoying, right? I mean, that's annoying. I'm not going to do it again. So let's take care of that. Come on.
'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take. 'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could.
That to me took care of the problems I was hearing in the vocal. Now, with the guitars and everything else in the mix, we may find it's too bright or not bright enough. I'm not sure. Again, I don't like to do a lot of this in solo, but for the sake of the video, I thought that would help. So now let's listen to it in the context of the whole mix.
'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take. I got a mission, and I've got so much life to live, not just for my sake. I got a mission, I got a mission.
Sounding really good. You may have noticed right there at the end, I soloed the slapback delay and then took it away. When I remove the slapback from the vocal, it's very clear. It just feels like the right tone. The slapback, however, is causing a little more thickness than I would like. So I'm going to go EQ that delay. Now, if you may recall, we have distortion on there, and then we've got a low cut on there at 465 that's rolling off a lot of low end, but there's still some muddiness sneaking through. So this is totally cool to actually bring in an EQ if we need to. So I'm going to EQ the slapback delay on that vocal.
'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take. I got a mission, and I've got so much life to live, and not just for.
So these are the frequencies that are bothering me, so I'm just going to wide cut the crap out of this.
'Cause I've got so much more to give than I could ever take. I got a mission, and I've got so much life to live, and not just for my sake.
Skip back to verse 1. Here's something different.
I've got so 30 years doing this same old thing, always wondering, hey, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Gotta know what's the ROI, gotta know if it's worth my time.
So here's one thing that you may find in some of your mixes. It doesn't always apply and only works occasionally, but sometimes when you've got a slapback delay on a vocal, especially a verse like this that's just guitar up the middle, bass up the middle, drums are kind of stereo, but it's just kind of mono during verse 1. I don't want to go crazy stereo effects, and this is a mono delay, but sometimes it can be nice to just take that, I zoomed out too far, to take that delay and just pan it off to the side just a little bit. So let's listen to that.
This same old thing, always wondering, hey, what's in it for me? What's in it for me?
So it gives it just a little bit to the right. That might even be too much. But so it's not just stacked on top of the lead vocal. It's got a little bit of space there and a little bit of separation so you hear them a little more clearly that oh, that's a slapback delay on the vocal. Not sure if that's going to work, but let's listen to it on the verse.
30 years doing this same old thing, always wondering, hey, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Gotta know what's the ROI, gotta know if it's worth my time. My time.
Side note, very important thing that I forgot about. So this slapback, let's listen to the slapback by itself. Listen to how the tone changes when I adjust how much I'm sending it to it from the vocal. Hold on, here it comes.
30 years doing this same old thing, always wondering, hey, what's in it for me?
Kind of a dummy moment here, but if I turn the slapback send, stop that. If I turn the send down on the slapback, it's turning down how much goes into this distortion, right? So that then there's less distortion if I turn it down. That completely changes everything. That's not what I want. So I need to get the tone that I want, and in this scenario, I need to turn down the actual fader of the slapback delay because I'm only going to use it on this vocal anyway. So let's do that.
30 years doing this same old thing, always wondering, hey, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Gotta know what's the ROI, Gotta know if it's worth my time. Ooh, my time. 30 years doing this same old thing. Always wondering, hey, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Gotta know what's the ROI. Gotta know if it's worth my time. Ooh, my time.
Okay, I like the tone of that. I don't know if I like it off to the side now. It's a little, almost makes it sound reverby. I don't want it to be reverby. Let's listen to it up the middle again. So this is the slapback up the middle.
30 years doing this same old thing. Always wondering, hey, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Gotta know what's the ROI. Gotta know if it's worth my time. Ooh, my time.
May come back to that, but maybe we'll just keep it up the middle. Sometimes off to the side can work, so file that in your list of potential tricks, but I think that works better.
So much more to give than I could ever take. I got a mission, and I got so much life to live, and not just for my sake. I got a mission. I got.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. They're very cool. So I'm digging the vocal tone. I like the way that delay works better. I like the more simple EQ that we have and the more less insane compression on the vocal. It just feels a little bit better. And this is something in my process. I may come back and completely strip down the vocal track and rebuild it 3 or 4 times, maybe more, over the course of a mix, because as I change the way the mix sounds, the vocal will sit differently, and sometimes that means I might want to change it. So this may very well not be the final vocal tone, and that's okay. So, but I want to show you all these types of things because that's the process for me, and I imagine it's the process for a lot of people. Your first setting is probably close to what the final one's going to be, but there's going to be some evolution of that sound over the course of the mix. All right, I think that's it for this episode. In the next episode, I'm going to show you a cool trick that I'm going to do for these hey background vocals that come in during verse 1, and try to recreate what I did on the EP, but if not, we'll still create something cool right here. Hey! We're going to make those sound cool. See you in the next episode.